Oh, what happened? Why is my voice so raspy? Am I Batman? Do I look like Batman now? Oh, what's going on? I feel so achy. Why are my pants so loose? Stupid ninja. Oh. Nathan, is this just a dream? Oh, there you are. Oh God. Oh God, my face. Stupid Halloween, what have you done to me? Oh, no, I'm still pretty. Okay, we're good. Yeah, let's go do a tutorial. Yay! All right, Halloween people, we're nearly there. My name is Zombie Justin. You are at the super creepy Firestorm free running and acrobatics, and today we are gonna do the 1 second handstand. Now, in the past, in our last set, our white rank or level 1 parkour tutorials, on floor section, we did our lunge to teeter-totter, and we did our spider walk handstand, where instead of kicking up into our handstand, we learned how to start building the forearm strength and finger strength needed to be able to actually hold a handstand by splitting forward, putting the weight over our fingers, and pushing ourselves back into the wall. Well, I hope you've been practicing. My God, dude, check out these abs, so defined. Oh, and these super buff knees. Moving right along. So today, we're gonna put those together into our 1 second handstand. Our goal is to go from our lunge to a teeter-totter, bring our feet together, hold it, and come back down to our lunge. Lunge, up, touch, down, and there. So let's break it down to our 60-second breakdown. I'm feeling a lot less hoarse in the voice now that my face has fallen off. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Let's begin. We're gonna start in our lunge position from our first lunge to teeter-totter tutorial. Remember that when we do this, we want a nice straight body from our foot all the way through our body to our hands. I want my shoulders over my knee directly in between my toes and my heel, so I have this nice 45-degree angle. From here, the distance from my back foot to my front foot is the same distance that my hands will go in front of this front foot. I want to drive kick this leg up behind me as my hands go down same time. As I go here, I'm gonna bring my feet together, touch. Notice I bring the foot down first. When you kick up, as soon as your first leg gets up, the other leg is gonna come up and meet it. They're gonna touch together just real quick. Tap, foot comes back down. When I come back down from that handstand, I don't start to fall my entire body, tip it over, and then bring my feet. You'll notice my foot leads the way. Foot, then my body comes down. You'll also notice my foot comes a little closer to my hands than it did during the start. Look where it is, look where my hands go. Wah! I messed that one up. And when I come down, I bring my foot closer. Why is that? Because there's not enough teeter-totter to pop me back up to normal standing if my feet escaped again. Again. How did it even get there? We're way past 60 seconds now. Okay? It's very difficult to bring my foot that far away and push myself up. It causes a break in your body position. So bring your first foot, your foot in front, closer to your hands than you did during the start. And I am going to try to fix that thing. All right, girlfriend, let's get a little more detailed, shall we? I just like doing that. I don't know, you gotta like push out the lips. All right, I think 3 was enough. Okay, so back to our handstand. We talked about our lunge. We went over that in great detail during our teeter-totter to handstand. So again, lunge position. Things we want to watch out for here when we do this is my knee is in between my heel and my foot. Okay, my shoulder is over my knee. That's how I know I'm close to a 45-degree angle right here. I've got a nice, good angle with my body as long as I'm straight from my back leg all the way up to my hands. What I don't want to see, if my knee is past my toes, you'll notice I'm on my toe, this will start to get shaky. You'll feel a lot of tension in here. It's no good. All right, if my foot's too far out in front, I'm gonna feel most of the weight on my heel. I can't push forward off my toes here. I need to jump off my toes, right? You don't jump off your heels. It doesn't work very well. You jump off of your toes. Boop. Check out them zombie toes. All right. It's just a thriller. All right, so when I do this, I need to have the knee right here so I can push up onto these toes to pop myself. Now, when I go into the handstand, all right, this is the first time we're gonna be going completely inverted and putting all of our weight onto our arms. When we just did our teeter-totter, it's just a little bit here to get used to it. You'll notice I'm not completely stacked straight up and down on my body. Because we're doing that, we need to make sure we have good kinematic stacking. That means I'm stacking these bones like we've talked about before. I want the bones to take the brunt of the weight. If my muscles do it, my muscles are much weaker than bones, there's a better chance of me falling on my head. And because you haven't actually done this before, there is a decent chance you will fall forward. So be aware. Good thing we've been learning them shoulder rolls, right? Yeah. So as I begin to put the weight onto my hands, there's a couple things I need to think about. One, I want to pop my butt up directly over my hands. So wherever my hands go, my butt is trying to get up and over them right here, okay? Along with that first leg, the leg that's in the back, driving it up. As all the weight hits my hands, this is when you're gonna start to notice what part of your body's out of alignment. Here, I got a nice straight line down my whole body. If your arm is here a little bit, which for almost everybody it is, right? Most people, you're using your upper body to do stuff all day, you are not stretching your shoulders. Most people don't do that. If you are, awesome for you. If you're not, time to get on that. Why? Because for a lot of people, your shoulder flexibility stops here. Now my bones are not stacking, which means the weight of my entire body, plus all of the momentum from kicking up is going to go to one place, and that is the weak link. And that weak link will be your shoulder, because now the muscles are holding this handstand and all of your weight and energy, not your bones. And your muscles are weaker like we talked about. So what's gonna happen for most people is when they feel it there, they're going to lift their head. It's a natural instinct. When you lift your head, this is pretty much what happens. I'm gonna do this, right? Because this is how most people's lunges are when they first start. They don't have their arms all up here, they're more here. They get up here, and then they fall forward onto their face. It's a very common thing. You see almost every person do it when they first start doing handstand. So, rule number one, shoulders locked to your ears. Okay, most people don't like that feeling. Because when they do, and I'll show you real quick with a little booty shot. No, because when I do this, if my shoulders are actually locked to my ears, I'm looking back at you guys, all right? That can be very disconcerting. When people stand and they want to balance, they don't look up at the sky, right? They don't look in any other direction. They like to look where my feet are, easier to balance. I like to pick something to stare at. When you're looking back through your hands, it can be very weird and awkward and actually cause you to lose balance. So here is the trick. When I do this, all right, I'm practicing putting my shoulders up to my ears. My shoulders are touching my ears. I have a nice straight line from my hip all the way up through my arms. I'm pinching my shoulders together, and when I do this, I can lift my head and look at my hands. Now I can see my hands, and if I'm in a handstand, this will feel much more comfortable and allow me to have better balance. Notice though, when I do this, I am lifting my chin and rotating. I'm pulling the back little knob of my head right here to the base of my neck right here. So when I do this, I'm just tilting up with my chin. Notice what I'm not doing is arching my spine to look back. And that is what happens for most people. When this happens, they pull their head back. See how there's no straight line from my hip all the way up to my hands anymore, is there? What I want to see is not this guy, but tilting the head and the chin, not pulling the neck back. When you pull the neck back, again, all those bones fall out of alignment, your muscles are doing the work, you're much more likely to fall on your face. So, either A, keep your hands here and your head here and look back the way you came. It will feel weird, but it will be helpful. You'll get used to it after a while. Or two, practice lifting just the chin, but not allowing it to affect the alignment from your wrist to your shoulder and from your shoulder through your spine down to your hips. All right, this will take practice. A good way to practice this is doing it with your spider walk handstand against a wall, so that way there's less chance of you falling. You've got something to hold your feet. All right, so I'm here again. Remember, the distance from my back foot to my front foot will be the distance that my hands are now in front of this front foot. We are a teeter-totter. I go here, okay? I'm not looking at my hands yet, I'm looking where I want to go, and as I go, I set my hands down. You can see I'm staring at those. I bring the foot and come back up. Now, one of the last things I want to talk about here is not just your bone stacking, not just squeezing your stomach tight, all these things that we know we need to do, right? We want to move like a solid piece of steel, not like a big old loose piece of jello with which each part separated by joints of our body wiggling independently. That's going to be no good and people are going to fall. A very common thing I see is people go up, they go here and they go, okay? As soon as you kick, this leg is already straight. It doesn't move, it doesn't do anything. It just literally goes up, boop, comes back down. This one right here, all it's gonna do is push to straight. Once it pushes to straight, all you're gonna do is squeeze your hips to slide it in here, and then you're gonna slide it back out, and it's gonna rebend as you land. So I'm here, leg goes up straight, it pushes straight, slides together, slides apart, bends, sets the other foot down. So remember when you do this, you're doing very little with your legs. Don't let them kick all over the place. When you're focusing on your hands, don't let them flail. Keep that back leg completely locked out and straight the entire time. The more locked out parts of your body you have, the easier it will be to balance. It is much easier to balance a baseball bat on your hand, as most people have done at some point in time in their life, or a stick or something, than it is to do something with a bunch of joints which will fall all over the place. Imagine trying to do that, but weighing, 200 pounds or whatever you weigh, while being upside down and very confused. Very difficult. You don't want to know that. So the last thing I want to talk about is how we come out of our handstand. Now, I'm going to use this line right here as an example to make it a little easier. This is my middle point for my teeter-totter, which means, again, that distance that this back foot is from the center is the distance my hands will be. I want you to notice where this foot comes down when I come out of my handstand, not into it. So here I am. I kick up. Bink. Look at that change of position. I'm no longer on this line, okay? Like we talked about during our 60-second breakdown, the reason for that is this. When I'm doing this one, see where my hip is? This is the center that I am tipping over. This is the center of my teeter-totter. But my hip is the center of my upper and lower body, right here. And it's not lined up over this center. So when I actually start my handstand, you'll notice I start to tip forward until my hip is over this foot, and now I'm on my tippy toe. From here, now I can lean down and do this. But see where that foot is? If that foot's there and my hip is here, there's nothing to tilt and push my body back to that nice lunge position. And we always want to come back to a nice lunge position. One of the most common problems I see from almost everybody, and the reason I can't mark them off on their skills, is they get in and they're like, Coach Justin, sweet lunge, here we go. All the way up. Handstand. That was dope. So cool, Coach Justin. No. You have to finish strong. You have to finish in the exact same position that you started in, a solid lunge, so you're ready for whatever your next skill is. You never want to give up the last 10%. That's when you want to be trying the hardest. So when you do this, the way to make it work is always when we're in that handstand, make sure that the leg that was in front drops towards the ground first before your entire body starts to fall. So I'm going to turn a little sideways so you guys can see a little better. What I do want to see is this. I go here, up, my hips stay in place. I'm right here, okay? From here I drop a foot, bring it in close, and then I come up to my handstand. What I don't want to see is here, hi friends, fall, and then try to bring the foot down. How the whole falls apart, it stops functioning at that point. So you've got to bend at the waist, bring the foot down closer to your body, and then reverse teeter-totter back up to your lunge position. This is, honestly, I think handstands are one of the hardest skills, especially to start balancing. It is very, very difficult for most people. It's a very common one that people want to do, but when you see a person that can kick into a handstand and they can hang out for days, I think my longest one I've ever done is about 3 minutes without any walking. I know guys that have done 7-8 minutes, okay? There are crazy people out there. They do not get there by just trying a couple handstands and being loosey-goosey. They focus on a nice, solid, tight, squeezed body position, squeezing their ankles, their thighs, their butt cheeks, squeezing their shoulder blades together and shoulders to their ears. They focus on all these things, and it takes a lot of practice. I have taught more people how to successfully do a back tuck than I have how to do a handstand. Okay? That's Not a braggadocious thing, that's how much more difficult it is. It is a very intense upside down balance thing. A backflip is just jump, fall back, and tuck. It is a million times easier. Handstands are difficult, so don't be hard on yourself if this takes you a lot of time. If it's very difficult for you to balance and keep yourself, use a mirror, take a video of yourself, check your body position. Is my head sticking out? If so, all of these muscles have completely turned off. Try a little experiment for yourself to see how much more difficult this is. Stand up straight, pull a knee to your chest, okay? No problem at all. You should barely even feel your tummy muscles doing anything, right? Then try lifting your chin, look as far back behind you, and try to pull a knee to your chest. And you will notice that those muscles right down here, your low abs, completely turn off. They deactivate when you go into an arch. So if you go into a handstand and your head's out here, the entire connection from your upper body to your lower body, most of those muscles have completely turned off. They are not functioning, they are not firing. No wonder it's hard to balance if all of a sudden your abs don't work. So take your time, check your body position. The other thing you can do is remember, you can go back and check our tutorial on our spider walk handstand and practice your spider walk handstand. This one is not just a balance thing, it is also a forearm strength, which is a strength that most people don't use very often. If you haven't built it, it's not usable. So go to the wall, practice your spider walk handstand, and build that forearm strength until it burns. You do it every day for a minute or two. Within a couple weeks, you're gonna have a solid handstand. No big deal. That, I think, is kind of the end of our tutorial. So beautiful people, I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. I hope that you are not zombified. And I think that there's probably, are we still doing the rhyme thing? I feel like we should do the rhyme thing. Zombie rhyme. We usually do what, share is the last one, so I feel like we should change it up to make it new. We're gonna make it on the spot. So there's like, comment, subscribe. What you got? What you got? You got a hand up in the back. I see it.
Do it like a Thriller dance.
Oh, okay. Do, 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 do. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Be a zombie like you don't care. I don't have any underwear, cause I'm a zombie. I'ma eat your brave Nathan, I'ma eat it. You do you not hear the music from outside?
I hear it, I just didn't understand what you were doing.
I was getting my groove on.